Check 1, 2.
Well, hello there, boyfriend. How are you this fine day?
I'm really good.
Is it working?
Yes.
Excellent. Let's not touch shit.
I'm afraid to ask, but I have a great question.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I'm so disturbed right now.
Disclaimer. This is Afraid to Ask episode, I don't know. Who knows? Erika's a doctor, obviously. Dr. Erika. I find parts of your job fascinating. And just as disclaimer to the audience, we usually turn our phones off when we start recording. We can't do that today. You may hear a beep or a ring or a tone come in because you are on call. And when you're a doctor, sometimes you're on call. And your job is it's like no one ever calls me at 2 a.m. and they're like, "Quick, tell me a dick joke."
No, I'm going to do that now.
But you get
You put that thought in.
But you get, you know what's funny? You actually called me once. We didn't even know each other that well. And you said, "This is an emergency. I need you to make me laugh." Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I felt kind of guilty because I've never done it since.
But that was the closest I've ever gone to being on call.
Oh.
You're having a really tough, patients were being kind of mean, and they were being mean to you and your students at work. And you said, and I kind of deliver? You caught me at a really good time. Sometimes I'm not funny at all. Sometimes I'm feeling pretty good. You caught me at a good.
You were actually really funny because, I had 2 students with me, and a couple patients had screamed at all of us, and one was being incredibly racially insensitive and discriminatory. And I, as their...
Really?
Instructor and a person of authority, had to take matters into my own hands and call this person out, which I would have done anyway. I don't tolerate that bullshit.
I don't think I knew that part of it.
Yeah,
wow.
and I didn't.
I apologize then for sending you guys all those racist jokes.
Whatever. So I was like, hey, I'm dating a comedian and I don't know how to lift the mood. Like, I was really struggling this time. Usually I can hold my own. So I called you and I was like, fucking send something.
By the way,
you did deliver. And you delivered like, go ahead, what?
We weren't dating at all. Way pre-talking when you asked this. This was still in the courting phase, as they say.
We never courted.
I like to categorize things by, like, was it before or after I saw your nipples? I would say pre.
Jamie.
It was pre. We weren't dating. I saw the edge of one in a photo, but I think it was a mistake.
Stop it.
But I was glad I was able to do that. It made me feel good.
Wow. Okay, cool. I was going to give you a compliment and tell you that you were really funny. Well, because you didn't come up with like one joke or two. You came up with a couple, and then you sent me another video, and you're like, in case like someone's a real big asshole later on today, I'm going to give you a backup to use for later. And that actually made us laugh more than anything else.
You know why that was important for me? It was important because I knew your pool of people you date, I was assuming, was going to be surgeons and doctors and things like that. And when you called upon me to do the one thing that I think I can do, it would be like if you called me and you were like, "Hey, do you know how to juggle?" I'd be like, "Holy fuck, yes, I do." Like, it's one of those things where I don't have a ton of skills and I actually could come through.
Don't worry, I won't call you for that one.
So you're on call. Did you get any calls last night?
No, not when we were sleeping. I only got one during the day. It's been a really light call this weekend, which is nice. Really nice.
I promise I'll move on. Weirdest call you've ever had when you're on call? Dumbest waste of your this person should not have called.
Oh.
And then we'll move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the good thing is I have a nurse who triages a lot, so it doesn't happen anymore.
Triage.
Yeah. So like if something's going on, and they're paid for it.
I was at a party at college once. Me and these 2 girls almost turned into a triage. Like, we were... Triage.
That's why you said it like that.
Does triage mean we're organizing people into different rooms based on priority?
Correct. But obviously on call, it's more so, you're proud of that one. Good job. When you're on call, it's more so like, does this require a doctor to be involved, or is this something that a nurse could handle?
Yep.
So then the nurses will call and say, hey, this person needs this prescription called in. They don't have the authority, so I have to. Or this person has abnormal labs, or these symptoms, I don't know. But if someone calls and says, hey, my face is drooping and my mom's face is drooping and she has slurred speech and she can't feel her arm, that's a clear sign of a stroke. They immediately say, go straight to the hospital, call an ambulance, or I'll call one for you. So you don't need to like have a doctor for that. Or a simple thing. My kid drank too much sugar today. And they'll be like, that's not really an important or relevant call. So just limit that tomorrow and don't bother a doctor at 1 a.m.
Right.
I didn't used to have that. So
You just made me think I'm putting this on for a future episode. But once,
what?
one of my children almost ate a 10 milligram weed gummy bear.
Oh.
It was crazy. You know how kids like don't eat
There's
anything?
a lot of stuff circulating about drugs and how they're disguised to look like candy now, like horribly.
This looked like candy.
Yeah. So like a lot of kids will go to the ER overdosed on something because their parents or whoever left it out and the kids genuinely thought it was candy. I mean, they're marketed as candy, right? A lot of them intentionally try to brand it to mimic certain candies that we liked when we were kids.
Absolutely. And before I sound like a horrible parent, I wasn't supposed to have the kids that weekend. It was not my weekend with the kids, so I kind of had like things were loosey-goosey around the house. You know, we got weed and stuff, right? Because I didn't child-proof it because they weren't living with me full-time. And they came over because they forgot something.
Yeah.
And I had just taken it out because I was about to it was a gummy bear. A gummy bear is so marketed towards children. But he picked it up and went, and I slapped it out of his hand.
Yeah. Well, it's dangerous.
We should do a follow-up episode on what would happen if that happened.
Call poison control.
Well,
That's
I guess
the first thing you do with any ingestion.
All right, let me erase that from my topics for future episode.
No, but that's
one's
really
over.
easy. That's all you do. You call poison control and they walk you through what to do. And then you either get advice on what you can give to administer to the child to keep them safe or what symptoms to look for that would warrant going to
Do you
the
have
emergency
snacks?
room.
Do you have a hacky sack? I feel like if it was 10 milligrams or less, the kid would be okay. Keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. That's just a guess. I guess we'll
I don't
find out.
know what
Call
is a
poison
safe
control.
amount. Honestly, I would say 0. I don't know what amount would warrant.
I'd recommend 0.
I think a lot of it too is symptomatic observation, but you also have to think if a child gets into a thing of vitamins and ingests all of them, iron toxicity is lethal. So
Yikes.
even though you think, oh, it's just a Flintstone multivitamin, it can be very damaging. So it's also the quantity.
That's why I keep no vitamins in the house. It's just weed. It's a safety issue. But is poison control 911 or can you get sent over to them when you call
you
911?
just look their number up online. 911's different. But if you call 911, sometimes they can, I'm sure, put you in touch with someone. But there's a direct line for poison control.
Dr. Erika's on call. If you hear a noise, that's what it is.
I am.
We'll pause the podcast. You ever get super...
Oh, yeah, the weirdest one I ever got. You asked me that, huh? Just now you said that, and we got distracted on weed. Yeah. The weirdest call.
Can I apologize right now for sipping and slurping into the microphone? Like, what the fuck is the matter with me? I heard it in my ears. I go, what is that, a tsunami outside? And it was me slurping, and I apologize.
You wouldn't have said that if I hadn't said that you were slurping your tea last night, would you?
I think
Still
I
in
wouldn't have
your
been
head.
self-conscious of it.
I'm never going to say that again.
We did talk last night about how, we could talk about it some other time, but how when you first are with somebody, like nothing annoys you, and then little things start to creep in, and you were like, I did notice last night you slurped your tea really loudly, and maybe I wouldn't have noticed that before. And it made me a little bit sad, not because I'm self-conscious, but because what a wonderful phase to be in.
Well, I also think it's very interesting how, is it a choice or is it subconscious? Like, omittance.
The slurping?
Yeah, like it's always been there. So I heard it. But did I choose not to hear it because I was like madly in love with this euphoric sensation of first dating? Or did I genuinely not hear it because my body didn't allow me to because I had so much dopamine surging that I just wanted to date you? I don't know. I think it's interesting.
It did not in any way bother me. It's not in my head, but I would like to let you know that from now on, I will be totally
Using a straw?
unrelated, be drinking. Fuck. Beat me to the...
Oh.
Someday I'm going to fucking pee you to surgery.
So sometimes I get calls that really matter. Like, hey, this person has these questions and I genuinely feel like I've helped them a lot. And it's kind of rewarding, right?
Sure, when it's a real actual...
That's, I think, the best part of my job is like if I'm tired or having a bad day, I do know I've made a difference in someone's life. And I think it's kind of cool to have that responsibility. The dumbest call I ever got was somebody who called me from their apartment and said that their air conditioning unit was broken and they asked me to fix it. And I was...
Wrong number?
No. And I said that. I said,
You say, this is the physician on call. Thank you for calling.
and it was a weekend.
They say, my air conditioner doesn't work?
Yeah, so how this works is when you call your doctor's office. And the doctor's office is closed and there's a message that says, the doctor is closed. If it's an emergency, go to the hospital. Or if you need to talk to the on-call doctor about a medical problem, press 1. Then... you get routed to me. And I answer.
So this person, they press that button.
So
they go, I do have a medical
So
question.
they heard that it was the doctor's office. Well, they dialed the doctor's office. Then they heard the recording that said it was a doctor's office. And then if it was a medical problem, to talk to the doctor. So then they got me. And it was like, 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? Well, my air conditioning unit is broken. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, so I need you to fix it. And I go, just to reiterate, this is the physician on call.
Mm-hmm.
What's your medical emergency? Well, I'm hot. And I said, yeah, that's problematic.
Oh, what a... Wow.
And I said, but what do you want me to...
That's a dumb...
And I was like, are you okay? Like, are you diaphoretic? Are you having heat stroke? It wasn't like the middle of summer. They were just uncomfortable. And so I said, well, I don't know shit about air conditioning units. And they weren't even apologetic. They were just like, well, fine, I guess I'll call somebody else.
This is
and
so
I was
crazy.
like, dude, you just woke me up at 3 a.m. I'm not compensated for call, by the way. It's a requirement for my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's built into, so if I get 0 calls or I get 500, I make no money. There's no motivation other than continuity of care.
No incentive. Yeah, it's just part of the...
Well, to take care of patients is the incentive. But a lot of facilities will just say, hey, if there's a medical problem, please go to the urgent care or emergency department to cut out this kind of thing. So it's frustrating when these kind of calls wake you up and then you can't go back to sleep because somebody's fucking air conditioning wasn't working.
That person's a moron, though. That person doesn't... I mean, if they're having heat stroke or something...
They were just kind of an asshole. This person was an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've had people call just scared about their kids or whatever, and that's the calls that matter. So, like, it doesn't bother me to get woken up in the middle of the night if it's for a valid reason. That's my job. I'm happy to do it. But that's, fix your own.
I remember that you got upset once. You got woken up in the middle of the night for sex. I did it, and you were like, that is not a priority, and you should have called someone else.
That didn't happen.
It didn't happen. That's crazy. When I hear a story like that, I go, that's like a dumb person. That is a super dumb person.
Yeah, oftentimes we'll share stories of the dumbest call we've ever gotten.
I like those stories. I like that. I got some questions coming in from listeners.
Oh, you got all excited there.
I thought I would, I'll edit out the shoulder thing I did, which probably is that and slurping are now on your list of things that annoy me. Yeah. I'll give you a choice. So I'm going to give you, what was that?
Nothing. It wasn't going to be nice. You go ahead.
It rarely is. So I'm going to give you 3 options of ways we could go here.
Okay.
We had a question come in. We got a guy. It says penis break, which maybe we could take one. It says this person thinks his penis might have broken, and then we have someone who says, oh, this person's dating somebody and they see a pattern in the person's exes. They want to know if it's a problem. And then we have a question about fetishes. Which way would you like to go?
Fetish.
Okay.
I might regret this. What do you got?
I want to hear broken penis. We'll get to that. I've been dating my girlfriend.
You can't break a penis.
Okay, well, that one's settled.
It's not a bone.
Okay,
we can talk about it later, though.
You said...
Well, you can injure it, but break, like fracture like a bone, you can't actually
break. Doing that
break.
One first?
What?
Are we doing that one first?
No, it's just you just said that you were really interested in that. And
in case
the
you're
reason
listening,
I rolled my eyes is because medically it's a misnomer. You can't fracture something that doesn't have a bone. There's no bone in your dick.
All right, well, we'll revisit that a little bit if we need to. This person says...
But we do call it a penile. Now I'm going to confuse you.
A penile what?
Well, fractures.
Yeah, that is
confusing.
Bone.
We need to fix that.
Just hearing you talk about it, there's a fucking bone now.
Gross. I'm talking about snapping a penis, and you're just like, ooh, I have a hard on. That's a problem.
We'll get back to it, but I thought I felt something like that. Nope. So it says, I've been dating my girlfriend for a little over a year. I just found out she has a fetish that I think is strange. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to edit that out. Let me just say this again. Here's the question. My boyfriend can only get off if I wear different wigs every time we have sex. That sounds like a strange fetish. Should I be worried? My boyfriend can only get off if I wear different wigs. You know what I think would be super problematic? If it was like a judge's wig, like a one of those blonde, or like
I would think like the George Washington wig.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Like in England, what they still wear.
That would be awful.
Parliament.
What this person's probably getting at this woman.
He doesn't want it to be her.
Wow, just straight at it. So you're thinking she's putting on these wigs. This is not like a multicolored clown wig. We're talking about
different women. He wants to, and it wasn't just one wig. It's not like he has a thing for redheads and she doesn't want to dye her hair red, for example, right? It said different one every time. So that's a different chick. So this person wants to hook up with someone new all the time. So they can't get off unless they feel like they're banging multiple people. Wouldn't you just feel like a used vessel? So yeah, I think that's a huge problem. That's a lack of intimacy.
Yeah. You don't think there's a world where he's at least like trying to include her in this fantasy? He's not cheating on her. He could have been, and he's trying to. You think it's her? Maybe. What if this guy?
No. Why are you trying to justify it?
I'm just trying to find a way for them to stay together if they're
Jamie,
listening.
I'd love to fuck you, but every time we do, I need you to have a different face.
Wow.
Not expression, whole face.
I feel like wig a lot less. Like I feel like she felt not as bad as I just felt when you said face. Because your face is like, that's what it is.
Well, but a wig for a guy, I don't feel like changes a lot of how he looks.
Yeah.
Like I can change the way I look just with how I style my hair, right? So a woman, like color is not the only thing. Style, shape, everything. There's a ton of stuff. So like he's getting off by thinking it's a bunch of different people. If I was just like, oh, today I want you to have blonde hair, today I want you to have gray hair, I feel like you could argue it's still messed up no matter what. But I don't know. I'm reading into it a little.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying.
Because it doesn't change the way I look at you, really.
Right. Do you remember the one time you wanted me to, sometimes we'll put on outfits, and remember you were like, oh, you made me dress like someone that had a better job than me?
I did not see that.
And you were like, oh, tell me again about tell me how low your copay is.
Well,
tell me about your health insurance.
You know what? That's the same thing. That's the fantasy, where people like dress up as like a schoolgirl or the guy's the business suit. Or it's like
I don't like schoolgirl. That's creepy.
The fantasy for me is being with you. So like, why would I want to?
Yeah, that's really sweet.
I think there's a problem. Like, okay. Yes, there's certain things in our sex life that I enjoy that I've had to explain to you, and you do them really well. Now, that's not like typical, like
Thank
my
you very
kind
much.
of like fantasy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to make you a different person.
We had to install that swing. No, you're right. In all seriousness, I remember once my ex-wife, she was like, "I'm gonna dress like a schoolgirl," and then when she came in,
oh great, what?
She looked like she had like gotten a job out of, and then decided to go back to school. She was a lot older than the students.
Well,
I remember I was like,
problem with the age thing.
I was like, oh, is it you just can't pass that one exam? Mm. She looked like the guy that went. That's too much joke.
Well, I also think that's problematic if we're going back in schoolgirl, because then you want to have sex with someone who's underage.
That's what I was just saying.
Into all of it is problematic.
That's what I was just saying.
I think fetishes. So there's good fetishes and bad fetishes, right? If you have a fetish disorder,
that subjective? You're saying in general?
Medically. So if you have a fetish, what's the definition of a fetish? Usually, it's either having sex with an inanimate object, which is the only way that you can orgasm or achieve sexual peak or climax, or at least some type of sexual satisfaction.
Would you consider a vibrator an inanimate object or no? Because it moves.
That's an excellent question.
Thank you.
I think if you are only able to have an orgasm with a vibrator and not with an actual person, that does fit the description of a disorder. And the other way that we'll look at it medically is if you can only achieve the same sexual satisfaction with a true body part on your partner, but it's non-sexual. So, for example, foot fetishes. You're obsessed with toes and heels and all of that, but a vagina or a penis doesn't allure to you completely. So if you like a foot and you like touch a foot and then you have sex and use sexual organs, it's typically not viewed as problematic unless your partner doesn't share the enjoyment or it's disturbing to them. But it's always problematic if it becomes something where you cannot achieve any sexual peaks unless you use this object.
It seems very problematic. And going back to the question about the wigs, you're right that the problem with that fetish, say you feet was your fetish, that's very different than saying, I want you to look like a different person every time.
Well, so you also bring up a really good point. We find that typically, so medically, when I'm counseling patients, there's three major reasons that we have seen people have certain fetishes.
Mm-hmm.
One is what?
No, I'm just reading a list of the most popular kinks and fetishes.
Oh, gross. Okay. So one is childhood experiences,
Okay.
a learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were exposed to certain things or you weren't exposed to certain things.
Right.
One is biological factors, of course, what your specific body has turned on. Sometimes we can't explain it, but people are drawn to certain things. And then third is cultural. And I think that one's really interesting. Different countries, if you pull up your list.
Are you saying one country's kink is another country's totally normal?
It could be. Yeah.
I don't like the feet one.
I don't like the feet one either. That just seems to be the most common one that people bring up, and that's why I mentioned it. But isn't that interesting that, like, across the board, like, feet comes up first? But if you honestly look at different cultures and the way that they approach sexuality, different fetishes reign higher ranked among them than other countries.
Sure. I guess that makes sense.
So what's your list? Is it American-based? Or is it like some...
This
really kinky country.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Right,
Did
I ever tell you? It also feet. I feel like they could be super gross. That's why I imagine someone with a foot fetish. It's a clean foot. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to have a? If I said this on this podcast, right, I really apologize. But I got a what's it called when you? I almost said a pedophile. What's it called when you get your feet?
Oh boy.
What is it called? A pedicure. I was thinking of a nail file or whatever. In my feet, I hadn't gone maybe ever to this place. To any place to get a pedicure.
Certainly, if you call them pedophiles.
That's not what I thought that's what they used. And my feet were so bad, I felt I got them. The lady did them. She was saying a lot of stuff in a different language that seemed like it didn't seem complimentary towards me. And at the end of it, I tipped her $20, which I thought was like a good tip. It was a $20 service. And she looked at me like, "Yep, that's about right."
$20 pedicure. That's your first mistake.
It is?
Yeah.
More expensive. They should be. But I think she was so grossed out. She felt like 100% tip was appropriate. So, sadism. Am I saying that right?
Oh, wait. So this is in order of the most prevalent?
Apparently. The most popular kinks and fetishes.
Most popular. Okay.
10 worldwide favorites.
Sadism is number 1.
It's where you inflict physical or psychological suffering on another person to stimulate sexual excitement. Or when I was married, I got all that without the sexual excitement part. Just got inflicted. It's sad. Okay, so is that no, masochism is a different one.
Yeah.
S&M.
Well, read the definition
Of sadism
versus masochism.
So
because it always gets paired S&M, but they are very different.
Oh, S with the M. Very much related to sadism. Masochism is, in fact, combines the acronym S&M. Masochism is when you derive sexual gratification from your own pain,
yes,
humiliation, or frustration.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's interesting too. Is the sadist someone that enjoys inflicting pain, like they get sexual satisfaction, or is the sadist someone who enjoys inflicting pain because their partner gets sexual satisfaction because they're the masochist? So you have to look at it both ways. I don't have a problem with that one, obviously.
Jeez. Okay.
Because of our sex life.
Wow.
With that.
Okay.
Okay. Next. But my point
Remember the time you told me it was enough humiliation just for being with me?
Well, the humiliation part is weird to me.
Yeah. That's. Don't you
that
worry
would
about?
Almost be like a trauma.
And don't you worry about the sex happens and then you're done and you're like, okay. Like I feel like it's if something carries into your regular life.
You
if
just
something was.
Turn on the television and talk about the next thing you guys want to watch after you just did. I don't even know what you would do that's embarrassing to the other to truly embarrass someone else. Ugh, did you give a list?
What about pee on them?
Gross. I don't think that's embarrassing.
Top of my head.
That's degrading.
Yeah, it's not a good way to wake up. Degrading, fine line between degrading and humiliating.
I think so. Degrading would be like orgasming on a woman's face.
Okay. Humiliation.
I almost think of humiliation is public shaming.
Public shaming.
Well, I mean, are you humiliated with one of the
orgasm on a woman's face in an arena? You're right.
Holy fuck.
What about frustration?
I mean, I guess you could embarrass someone one-on-one, but I think of it as more like public embarrassment, humiliation.
Frustration. I don't like the
Inflicting
frustration one.
Is that like teasing for a long, long, long time before you do something?
Too long, I don't like it.
You did that one time.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
So S&M is fine. I think the biggest thing you and I could agree on is the safe word.
Yes. The safe word.
Right?
Yeah. By the way, can I go back to degrading really quick?
What?
Don't you think degradation, to me, it has a lot to do with, do you know there's porn on the internet? I've heard about this. Never have I, but people talk. There's porn where it's called the woman doesn't want the thing done to her. I am not joking right now. So I feel like degrading, if it's a bit of a role play where like before it starts, a girl goes, I want you to do this to me.
Yeah.
That feels so different to me than like, why did you do that? Or like doing this to a person that didn't want it. Mm-hmm. But don't know why I brought that up. What did you just say?
What did I whisper?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just, when you said that you don't see the porn, I was like, yeah, I doubt it.
Oh, I've seen some of it. But I would not forced.
It just doesn't seem nice.
Wouldn't be good. Do you ever watch porn? You just said this to me.
Did just 2 days ago.
This morning.
Not this morning. Oh, I told you this morning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't frequently do it.
Let me ask you a question.
And it honestly is usually off-putting, so I typically avoid it. But occasionally I feel like it. Maybe like once a year.
No, more.
No.
Okay, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. We should go out celebrating.
What did you type into the search bar when you were looking for porn the other night?
Girl on girl.
Girl? Wow. Okay, well, that's it for today. Girl on girl.
Serious. I'm totally fine with this, and I'm proud of it.
I believe
because
you.
There's no threat to you. I am absolutely heterosexual. But the reason that I find if I ever was like paired with another female, I couldn't do anything sexually to her. I don't find those organs to be appealing to me. I like your goods.
But you like to watch it.
I like to watch it because I like to watch it being done to someone, fantasizing that person is me.
Yeah.
Where like I can see all the parts that I would want touched.
Would you want a girl to do that to you?
No, I wouldn't.
Really? So why not guy and girl? Is it because you have a boyfriend?
Because the guy always ends up sticking his dick in her, and that's not really that pleasureful.
Spoiler alert.
Well, because I like it when it's all about the woman.
Yeah.
When you have a porn where it's a guy and a girl, sometimes he'll like eat her out or whatever, but then obviously he wants his. Whereas the woman, if they flip it, it's the same view. I just see another vagina. It turns me on seeing a woman get off thinking it's me getting off. It turns me off seeing a penis and balls because the only one I want to see is yours. I have no desire to see that.
Do you know,
that makes sense.
It makes total sense, and I liked hearing that. And I will never.
Think I'm typical though.
I don't know. I'd be curious. I can never watch a porn. Never watch a porn when you're hungry, by the way.
Ew.
No, I'm just saying because I came when
don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry because you buy too much shit you wouldn't ever use.
Yeah, like I came when the pizza guy knocked on the door. So hungry.
Jeez. Wow.
Give me that thing.
What kind of porn do women prefer?
You know, you could learn a lot from a person if you looked at their autofill. What's it called? You know when you type something and it fills in automatically?
Well, this isn't doing any of that, so.
Yeah.
Pornhub. Oh, December 19, 2019. This is from Pornhub, which is where I went because obviously everyone does. Far and away the most.
That's when this girl on girl was? This is when you watched the porn? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Pornhub is where I went because it's free.
Uh-huh. It's a great way to...
Wow. I'm so normal. Okay, so Pornhub said in 2019, far and away the most viewed category of women is lesbian, followed by popular with women and Japanese. I don't understand what popular by women means. That doesn't really help you. And then it said, I want to find the guys. Oh, wow. Woo. Okay.
I feel like you don't even need me.
And so lesbian, popular with women. Again, I don't like that because that could be anything. Japanese.
What do you mean? Wait, slow down.
The second category says popular with women. What does that mean?
I think they're saying that from the women that responded to our survey, they have said that lesbian is more is more
Number one, that's what they prefer.
So they're saying popular with women, meaning like not men are not being taken into account with the searching of the lesbians. That's what I would think.
This is so interesting.
Okay.
So after Japanese threesome, ebony, amateur, anal, mature, don't even know what that next one means. Now I'm getting pop-ups of stuff I don't want to see.
Wow.
What's hentai? Hentai?
No idea.
MILF,
Sounds like animals.
which is interesting. Big dick, gangbang.
Wow.
Okay, and here's the guys one.
Sounds like my set list from the other night at the comedy club. Hentai
Yeah.
is a style of Japanese. Cartoons.
Ew.
Who is not jacked off to The Simpsons? No, I don't understand this at all.
Okay, the men's favorite. This is Pornhub.
I found a picture of a drawing, and it got me a little bit. Something happened with my penis.
Well,
Because it's a good drawing.
hentai is up higher on men's list than women's. Guess what the number one most viewed category by gender for men was, according to Pornhub in 2019?
Blowjob?
Japanese. By far. Look at the graph. Look how much more than anything else.
Wow.
And then the second one was amateur.
I've never searched Japanese. It would never occur to me.
What does that mean?
Mature? Older? Is that what you're asking?
I don't know. And then
No,
MILF.
yeah. Mature means like 50 plus.
Oh. So, wow. That's surprising me.
Yeah.
So, Japanese, amateur, mature, MILF, hentai, ebony, anal, lesbian. That's interesting. Big tits, threesome, big dick, transgender. No, so you know what though? It didn't talk about like if this was cisgender or transgender or
Yeah.
gay. I mean, it didn't say any sexual preferences. It just said gender, probably I'm presuming assigned at birth. So that doesn't really help us. Okay, so that was interesting. But guess what? I found this other one.
Yeah.
Huffington Post. I don't know if you want to do that.
I prefer. I think they have good information. Just to circle
Despite
back,
the stereotype
this
that,
girl should break up with the guy that wants the different wigs.
or just have a conversation and tell him to fuck off. And if he honors that, then stay with him. But if he still wants a different wig,
What if she goes, "Hey, no problem, bring a different dick."
ooh,
Right? Little
that's
comeback.
a great response.
Zing.
Yeah,
Yeah, bring
dye
your-
your pubic hair a different color.
Bring your
Pretend
friend's
that motherfucker.
dick and have a red fro above it.
Look at this. Science is backing it up. May of 2023. This is blowing my mind. At first, I was a little bit not worried. I don't care.
You know what's weird? When I search for porn, I write blowing my mind. Go ahead.
I don't know where it went.
How is blowjob not on there?
I don't know.
I searched for that my whole
Research
marriage.
showed, this is according to Huffington Post in the UK in 2023, 90% of women prefer to visualize or create scenarios in our heads to get us turned on. Further backing the fact that most women often search for woman-on-woman porn so they can see the anatomy.
Yeah.
And it is despite the stereotype that men love lesbian porn. It's actually women who search it much more.
That's wild. That would be close to my number one thing I would watch. Do you find that
It says it's also
surprising?
more accurate. I don't know why that says.
Do you mean accurate as far as how people interact in real life as opposed to guy on woman that might be crazy or exaggerated? Do you find it surprising or not surprising at all that that's probably what I would search first?
You would search lesbian porn first?
I wouldn't write lesbian porn. I think I would write like girl on girl.
Why?
I don't know. I have no interest in seeing a man have sex with a woman with his penis. None.
So you also just want to see girl parts?
Well, I don't mind a blowjob thing, oddly enough. A video.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing as me. You like watching what you want to be done to you.
Yes.
I find it very distracting when I see it from the guy's angle. It's porns with opposite genders, I feel like, are always shot from the man's perspective.
Yep.
It's never from the woman's perspective.
Nice.
And it bugs the shit out of me.
Yes, me too.
Because I'm like, I don't want to see the guy's ass and his balls slamming into her and his penis. Like, that doesn't do it for me.
Have you ever seen...
Quite unattractive, actually.
I hate that angle, the ball slap.
Why do they do
Don't
it so
like it.
much?
Jealous because I can't do it. Also don't like to see it.
What?
I don't like... Well, do I do... Have you ever seen True POV?
I don't know what that is.
True porn POV is where it kind of looks like it's your penis. So you're there. I think the dude's wearing like a GoPro. It must look ridiculous to film.
I feel like that would... No.
And then the girl's doing it, but you feel like it's your own. It's almost like a VR situation. Like you're looking down at the penis.
Oh. Well, okay, that's fine. When you said GoPro, I was imagining like the magic school bus going inside of a vagina or something.
The magic school bus?
You know how like...
What's the magic school bus?
It was like it's bad that I referenced that because it was a childhood cartoon.
Oh.
But they would like shrink and go into a blood vessel and drive them through the body. And then it'd show you like your stomach. And they'd learn about stuff. I was just thinking
you mean like the beginning of Fight Club?
Bird's eye view of like going into a vagina, like seeing it. And I was like, ew, that'd be terrible.
No, it's like, suppose you could see what a man sees when he's getting that done. Oh. That's what a POV.
Well, that makes sense to me because that's why I like watching Girl on Girl. Mm-hmm. I really do like to see what I think is going to be happening to me. That's what turns me on.
Yeah. That's the most respectful viewing of pornography I could ever imagine. When you told me that, it made me happy. I was happy for you. There was no feelings of, if you said, oh, I watched this guy do this thing. We've talked about it before, but the only thing you do is sometimes you'll read a book where it describes it in detail.
I love my raunchy romance books. I was just trying to get my sister to download it yesterday. I just had the conversation. And I was like trying to recall like what they say. And she was like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, this isn't like, oh, and then he kissed me and we went to the bedroom. Mm-mm. This is like, and then he fucking shoved inside of me and his veins were pulsating all up and down his dick. And it's very vulgar and it's wonderful. And I like to do it when I'm driving.
You called me once and I said, I think that it's more dangerous than you having 2 drinks and driving, you listening to this shit.
No.
You're swerving back and forth.
I did swerve, but I didn't
Thinking about an imaginary penis and a man with tattoos that I don't have.
Well, it wasn't that. It was the setup of like, the sex scenes were pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked romance novels, and I always thought it was silly that these like older women would read them and fantasize about a man sweeping her off her feet and them going into the sunset.
I used to fantasize just about a woman sweeping. Like,
I'm going to give you like 3 seconds to retract that one.
I'm sorry. Totally just a joke. I apologize. If we were in Gutfeld, it would say that's what a sexist would say.
We're not on Gutfeld. We're in my house.
So sweeping. I apologize. You know I'm just kidding. You know I am. I'm really sorry.
The only sweeping I want going on in my house is sweeping the floor with your own fucking tears when I've cut you off sexually because of the shit you just said. So if you want to do that, we can do that.
So you're saying...
You're in trouble now, JD.
You're saying... sweeping off your feet. I'm really sorry. I feel like you're really... You're saying... You don't want just some super romantic thing. You're suddenly realizing you don't mind like a...
I'm certainly glad that you went the polar opposite of a romance novel and went straight to a misogynistic dick.
Yeah. I have a whole book. It's just a lady. Like, oh, then I entered his dirty bedroom and put stuff away. And then...
You're going to keep going with this one.
Just saying it's a... Just a... You know.
What did I tell you... In all of your comedy, what upset me more than anything else when we first started dating? Like, what topic was off limits?
That
would really upset me.
If I said I was dumb?
No.
Misogynistic stuff?
Ding fucking ding.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a silly joke. I apologize.
It wasn't funny. Next.
Holy shit.
I'm mad at you. I don't like that shit.
Do you understand, though, seriously?
I don't find it funny. And the reason I don't find it funny is it's a sensitive subject that a lot of men have used humor in to get away with very inappropriate, disrespectful behavior that has gone on for centuries. So the reason I don't like jokes is because you're just perpetuating that it's silly and it's not a big deal and it's a huge deal. So I think it'd be safer to move on to something else. Romance novels are great.
Are there guy romance novels?
I don't know.
I don't think there are. You know why?
I don't think so.
Do you know why?
Because guys can just get off real fast. They don't need like the whole fantasy and the neurobiological connection that women usually desire.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
I think that's what it is. Like right now, you could have sex with me, right? I think right now, like if we cut, would you be able to have sex with me and get off?
Of course.
Okay. There's absolutely no way in hell I would get off right now because I'm mad at you.
Wow. Okay. What, interesting. Even if you kind of wanted to?
Nope.
Interesting.
A woman's largest sex organ is her brain. by far.
I met some women where it was the vagina.
We have numerous studies out there that prove that women need some type of connection, and neurologically they have to have a feeling of trust or security to want to have sex. One night stands, women can do it, absolutely. There's always outliers, but the average female requires some type of love bond connection. And when you upset them and they feel more betrayed, hurt, or disrespected, then your shot of having sex completely goes out the window. And men also enjoy makeup sex because they feel like that's how they bond. Whereas women, when you're in a fight, the last thing they want to do is have sex because they don't feel closer. So when you ask for makeup sex, the man in his brain genuinely is thinking, hey, this will help us feel closer. I want to do it. I want to make up. I want to feel bonded to my partner. The woman is like, fuck you, asshole. I need you to show that you love me in a different way. And once we're made up, then I will have sex with you. Because they feel very disrespected having sex when you're arguing.
Could I see could I seriously defend myself?
No.
I think as a comedian, if I went on stage, there's actually a guy right now getting a lot of shit for doing like a physical a joke about like violence towards women, and I think he deservedly is getting shit because it's on a Netflix special, and I think he probably shouldn't have said it, and it's not great. I would like to defend sometimes my brain. I heard the word sweep. The reason I made that joke was because it is such a stereotype. So I feel like sometimes I get a little bit of a pass because I'm like, I don't. Sometimes I think she knows I'm not really like that. And so I could do this joke. And then my brain makes a thing. And then I go, but I see what you're saying. You made a great point that it's happened for hundreds of thousands of years. And I understand. I apologize.
Well, I said centuries. I wasn't talking eons. I think early cavemen,
they were not the most chivalrous.
Were probably equivalent in what they did.
Yeah.
I am glad that he's getting a hard time.
Yeah. That joke, by the way, don't know if you've heard it. It's been told 100 times. It's sort of like a hack joke. Talking about the Matt Rife thing at the beginning of his Netflix special, I think he's just trying to like go outside of his normal mold of appealing to young women who like unrehearsed comedy. But he does the joke at the beginning of his special, and it's like a super like kind of like an old joke. It's almost like a street joke, which is kind of funny that he's getting a lot of shit for it. But he'll be fine. I'm not worried about that.
Well, I think that goes back to say that something was tolerated for a long time and it needs to be changed in our culture now. I think it's also like, it's been said so much, it's funny, isn't true. If you think about like racist comments or homophobic comments, we used to say them all the time. But now if we say them, it's completely not acceptable, right?
You're right that he also made that mistake because you've heard the joke, but times have changed and things are not like, you can't say that shit. This joke is, I would say conservatively 40 years old. And he did it the other day.
I think the problem also, though, is the segregation of women's rights compared to other activism is, women typically make up more than 50% of a certain culture or population, yet they're disparaged more and silenced. And a lot of other groups, if you look at them, have had a lot of activism and been outspoken. And I do not want to speak, I think that there's so much progress we have to make across the board. But it really frustrates me that women still universally get disrespected a lot. So that's why I'm sticking to my guns on this one.
You make great points. And so we did not get, in this episode, we did not get to, as often happens, we did not get to, I think my penis is broken. And we also did not get to, there's a common thing with this person's exes, and this person feels threatened because he or she doesn't fit the mold. I can't remember if it was a girl or a guy. Hey, I got a quick question. I think we covered this a tiny bit before we move on, before we go. We might have said a little bit of something about this in a previous podcast, but I don't remember. You walk in, I am watching pornography. Besides the crazy ones like schoolgirl, inappropriate.
This is a hypothetical situation.
This is a hypothetical.
I was trying to think of it happening. I'm like, I don't think that's ever happened. But
you walk in, I'm watching pornography, and I go, "Oh, you caught me." I'm watching. I show it to you. It's girl on girl. You're not that upset. We covered. What do I show you? And we're getting rid of any kind of horrible abuse or step whatever the F person. What do you get a little bit upset about?
Man, you're really trying to like ruffle me up today, huh?
I am.
What do I not like you watching on porn?
Wait,
Underage stuff would piss me off.
But no, I mean not that. That's what I'm saying specifically. Like not craziness about underage or nothing like illegal or criminal. I'm saying like as a woman, you see something that a guy might think like, oh, you're pissed at me for this? Like, what would it be? What about like a guy with 7 girls or something? Like a gangbang or like...
Of course I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like anything past like basic porn. You know what's funny though is I'm glad we talked about it, because if I saw you watching 2 guys having sex, I'd have a lot of questions. But
I've got some good news for you.
And that's what I said, right? I watched 2 girls having sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, Jamie. I'm not cheating on you. I just want to like picture myself getting eaten out. And I'm like, but if you do it, do you really want to be the woman? I've got questions. I am not okay. I feel like it's not a... And this is where I think it's fair to say it's a double standard. And I have to admit that. As strongly as I feel about women's empowerment and female equality and equity, we also have to talk about the opposite. This is not fair. It's not fair. So I'd have to be patient and say, okay, why are you watching dude on dude porn? Is it because you liked watching him get a blowjob? If it was in the ass, I'd be like, well, is that because that's what you want to do? Or is it because you want a guy? I don't know that I would really have a problem.
You're right. I would say I think you'd have to be a homosexual if you watched that.
I would
from what I know.
presume so.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to just assume it, since I just so openly said, I watched Girl on Girl. You should be okay with it. I think you have to have open communication.
I once was on a porn site and like something like that flashed on and I was like, oh my God, like, right? Because sometimes you don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
And it was a guy with a guy and I was so, but I needed to know how it ended. And so I watched a little bit more.
We all know how it ended.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't like that stuff that you just looked up, anime and stuff. I think that's really fucking creepy.
Would that be creepy? Okay, you come in the room.
For me, it's creepy.
What about you walk in?
I'm a real person. Why are you getting off to cartoons?
It is weird.
It really bothers me. Like, do you need this fake perfect body that you can like customize on AI? Like,
you walk in, I'm either watching Guy on Guy and you want to be with me forever, or
have questions.
or I'm watching anime. What do you wish is the obstacle we have to overcome? Guy on Guy or anime?
I would take Guy on Guy over anime.
No. No.
I would.
You wouldn't walk in if you see me anime like, do you really want to fuck a cartoon?
I would have a hard time because...
You imagine you go to a comic book shop, you just blow your load of love.
Probably people do, because for me, I always want to understand the perspective of the other person. If you're watching Guy on Guy, I honestly would think, okay, he's probably homosexual. And then I would think, well, maybe he's doing exactly what I like to do when I watch porn and see it from that perspective. Why don't I talk to him? If you're watching a cartoon, it's because you want something fake. And I can't ever produce that, procure that, replicate it. There's nothing. That's my complete competition is out. I can't do anything. So it's like you have these other expectations. And I think we talked about this previously, where porn is usually okay unless it becomes an addiction where you watch it so much of one specific kind.
Yeah.
You can't get
Or
off.
a specific person.
Well, that's a whole different thing. But if you watch porn so much that that's the only way that you can get sexually aroused, you've got an in-the-flesh woman right in front of you, but all you want to do is have sex with a blow-up doll cartoon. A lot of people have a difficult time achieving orgasm with a real partner, and that's a horrible demise for many relationships.
Yeah. I'm going to run through the rest of this list in case anyone was wondering about the fetishes, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah,
so,
what else
have you ever heard of CBT?
CBT? Like marijuana?
No, that's so funny. I immediately thought cognitive behavioral therapy. It's not either of those things.
Why did I think about weed? I don't even use weed. And you thought about a medical thing.
It's from that book. I love the book Feeling Good, and it's about cognitive behavioral therapy. It's cock and ball torture.
Ew. That's a common one?
Yeah.
Is it... Wait. Does it go into detail? If it's a woman enjoying hurting a man, or if it's a man enjoying being hurt?
It says it's for the guy to want it.
We saw that stuff in the sex store. Remember the thing you put on your finger that had like the metal wheel and like rings, but that were like painful with like pointy things on the inside?
I don't need that. I don't need cock and ball torture. Yeah. You know what you could call it if it were me? You could just call it torture.
Don't
even add cock and ball.
How is that different than masochism?
Well, I think, isn't masochism, didn't we say that? I think it's a form of, I think masochism, I think CBT falls under the umbrella of masochism.
I think so too.
Mummification.
Oh my God. What?
A person's wrapped from head to toe like a mummy.
And you just cut off.
They're rendered immobilized for sexual gratification. Wow.
Do you ever read these and think, holy shit, I'm super normal? Or do you read them and think, fuck, I'm missing out?
I feel like I'm glad I don't need these things.
That one's creepy as fuck.
Some people call it burritoing. That's not true. Impact
that would be a
play.
deal breaker if we were like the first night we were gonna have sex, like didn't know what you
Fucking,
like,
and I'm like, hey, swaddle me.
and you're swaddle me.
Isn't that what they say when you put a baby in the
Yeah,
thing?
I feel like that's a different fetish. Wrap me up in a fucking saran wrap, cut a hole so I don't die, but immobilize me.
That would be a deal breaker.
I feel like I'd be like, how many people did you kill before me?
How about it gets rid of the whole possibility of ever having a quickie, right? You go, hey, we got 5 minutes. You're like, oh, mama, find me. By the time you get it wrapped up, all the kids are home.
Ugh.
It's too much stuff.
That's fucking crazy. I've never heard of that. Have you? I'd never heard of that.
I have not. Age play is a form of role play performed by adults pretending to be a different age than they are, usually younger, but any age fits the bill.
See,
Keep it legal, though. We're legal.
keep it legal.
Say it's a 70-year-old woman. She's like, I just can drink legally tonight.
It does say age play though, right? What
Age
about
play.
the opposite?
You can
want
do
me
the
to get a
opposite.
cane?
It says usually younger.
Oh, it does.
Usually younger.
Why is that such a
But, like,
thing?
you can't
Why
move
is
your-
it so appealing to have a younger sexual partner?
I don't know.
No, truly, I don't understand.
Well,
porn
could it
where-
be, I'm going to say a word incorrectly. Could it be evolutionarily that you want someone that might be fertile? How about that for a fucking excuse for these creeps?
I don't think so for this one. I think this is something pathologically wrong when you're searching underage porn.
Well,
Like
yeah,
girls
that's
who look but girls who look underage.
Sure.
I think there's something very, very wrong with that.
Certainly. Impact play involves hitting or being hit with an object in a safe, consensual way to derive sexual pleasure and create or appreciate a sensation of dominance.
So we're still like doing like subtypes of S&M.
Yeah. Role play?
Role play. Is
I have
there
a
more
question.
specifics
Afraid to ask.
under there?
I'm dying to ask you if you've ever role played, but I don't want you to tell me.
Have I ever role played?
I don't think I want you to answer.
I feel like I have,
Okay.
but now I can't think of the example.
Once
I really don't think I have, maybe.
I told you that I thought you looked super hot. I'm very turned on when I see you at work when you're doing doctor stuff. It's just very impressive.
But
And
that's not role playing because I am a doctor.
You brought-
you mean when I brought my doctor stuff home?
yeah, you brought your doctor stuff to New York, and you dressed like a doctor.
Well,
Yep.
first of all, that was like an extra set of everything because I keep my work stuff at work because that'd be gross to bring it home and also gross to bring back to patients if we had fun and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So what I
course.
brought was fun. And to me, it was like kind of cheesy because I'm like, I'm just coming home after a long shift. Like I just want
Yeah.
to go to fucking bed. And you're like, let's get it on.
I actually really liked it. I was surprised next week that I was surprised how big the bill was. It was very expensive. And I guess the
wasn't worth it?
anesthesiologist was in a different network. What the fuck, man? Cuckolding. This is when one partner watches their lover with someone else and derives pleasure from it. I don't understand.
What is it called? How do you spell it?
It's cuckolding. Cuckolding. I don't understand that.
Cuck holding.
Don't like it. I do. That's the craziest one. I can't get inside someone's.
For sure. But
Yeah.
ugh.
I knew a friend of mine. He was a comedian, and this guy and a woman hit on him, and they were a couple, and they brought him back to their place, and he knew it was like a weird situation, but he was like, ah. And when they went back to the place, the guy he saw them more than once after this. Girl was very attractive. The guy liked to be in the room a little bit, and then they'd start kissing, and then the guy would leave, and he would sleep with the guy's wife, and the guy wasn't even there. He was outside the room.
He
But
was like knowing it was going on.
he like knew what was going on.
Was he listening through the door
Uh-huh.
and masturbating?
He had his penis out. Well, to each his own. We have to go.
That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so like it's quite the opposite. I'd be like, you're fucking cheating on me, and I'd be angry.
It's
I wouldn't
quite
even-
the opposite.
I wouldn't even be like, oh, okay, if you're into it. Like that is like a huge fucking deal breaker.
Well, how about I get jealous of guys you slept with that were 10 years before you met me, let alone it's inside the bedroom and we met him at a club.
I want to know how long you have to like have sex with someone or know someone before you're like, hi, by the way, I'd like to cuckold later
How do you bring it up?
over dinner.
Do you go like, man, what if this sausage was another guy's dick and I
mean,
watched?
You gotta like allure the lady in, so you gotta like wine and dine her, right? Certainly wouldn't tell her to go sleep your floor and then tell her you wanted to go fuck someone else.
But also, are you saying It's totally wrong if I said, I'm into cuckolding. Why don't you watch me sleep with someone? That's very different than me saying, I like this thing. What do you think about a guy
fucking me?
Yeah.
And I'll watch.
Which I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Well, I'll agree. That otherwise, it seems like you're like trying to get into like sleeping with other people.
yes.
But when you're like, no, I really am voyeuristic in the way of well, no, that's the wrong term. But I want to watch you having sex with someone.
Yeah.
I guess so. But man.
Cuckolding.
Or how do you even like get someone into that? Like they've never done it before and you're like, you want to try it?
What if you don't like it and it ruins everything?
Then you end the relationship.
But that sucks. What if you have a great relationship and you're like, let's try this thing, and you do it, and I could see like a threesome doing that, group set, like some kind of orgy. I could see an orgy ruining everything.
I honestly think that if you and I went to an orgy, we might break up and never talk again. And that'd be like one mistake, one and done.
Why? I don't think we would.
Well, I don't think we ever would.
But I don't think-
I was using it as an example of like a great relationship.
Something you can't recover from.
Where you have wonderful communication, you love each other, you genuinely feel connected, and yet you make one mistake and you're done.
It's all
And I'm saying
think about.
consensual. Like
Yeah.
we both were like, let's do it. I feel like there's so much shit that would go wrong.
I feel like the drive home would be
Orgies,
horrible.
1, never done. 2, I have so many questions.
So many questions. I can barely focus on one beautiful woman. I want all my energy there.
But like, how do you know who wants who? Do you know if the guys want the guys, the girls want the girls and the guys want each other? How do you just get to, is it a fucking buffet?
I don't
Just
think.
go up to them and you're like, I'll have a little scoop of this, side of this one. I'll go back for the soft serve only if I have room.
Yeah.
And then also, the guys got to pace themselves, right? The girls can have fun for hours, but the guy has to like choose.
What can you imagine you go to this orgy? Let's say you
That's
pay.
an interesting concept.
Let's say
right?
you pay and it's like for 5 hours you get to go to the orgy. Can you imagine being the guy just watching your wife fuck people for the other 4.5 hours?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that first person was great. Now I'm just
Man.
gonna sit here because I'm unable to
could,
perform.
maybe we could get out of here soon. Like when
Very
you're
awkward, right?
like when your
And you
wife's
know
at the
how-
craft store. You kind of done?
Do
We
you know
got everything.
Also, like how there's so much pent up like excitement until you climax, and like the minute or two after of recovery, and then you rest. But then you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy would have to sit and watch. Then it'd even be worse.
You know what it reminds me of?
You'd have to like wait and not do anything for like hours and hours and hours, and then go at the very end. That's a lot of self control.
You'd have to. It reminds me of, if you ever been at a dinner, this just happened to me, and you order all this stuff, and you don't want to be there all night. You're hungry, and you want to eat and go back and maybe do something, and you order steaks, and it takes a little while, but it's not too bad, and then someone joins your group, and the waiter's like, would you like to order something? And they're like, oh, actually, yeah, I'll have a tomahawk, and you're like, it just started over. I'm full. I don't want to watch someone eat a steak. Not a great analogy.
Well, I always thought it was really interesting people who worked at a restaurant, if they were like, yeah, you work at the best restaurant ever, you get free food all the time. But they're like, well, I just ate. I'm full as shit. And now I have to smell food for the next 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's got to be difficult.
I remember at Arby's, I loved roast beef the whole time. Never
never got
got
sick
old.
of it?
Never got old. And I had no money at the
How
time.
much did you eat?
I was bodybuilding at the time, and so I was eating like 5 regulars, couple giants all day long. I was ketoing.
Oh, so you were just eating the meat. Were you putting
Yeah.
the sauce on it?
No.
Oh.
This one time,
You never got sick of it?
I used to steal sandwiches. But a lot of times it was because they made them
Yeah.
by mistake. Maybe once in a while. And this one time, I took a giant Arby's sandwich, which is just meat. That's all it is. There's no sauce. But you can't just eat a sandwich, right? So I go in the bathroom, and I lock the door. It's a one-seater. And I take out the sandwich, and I'm about to eat it, and I look over. In the toilet, someone shit the exact. It was like they ate there was like a giant shit,
Wait, are
and
you
it was the
being
same
serious,
shape.
though?
Yeah,
Why did you eat in a toilet?
you have to, because I was eating a sandwich that they probably could have stealing it.
So you went to eat
Where
it
else
in
would
a
I go?
public bathroom? It's gross.
Well, I don't know where else to go to eat stolen sandwiches.
Not in the bathroom.
Do you know the most popular place to eat a stolen sandwich is a bathroom?
I doubt that. I feel like you just go out back.
But this poop, it was like a snake exhibit.
Then how did you eat the meat if
I
you're
didn't.
looking at shit?
Threw
Weren't
it
you
away.
like, never mind?
I said, never mind.
What is the grossest story you have at Arby's?
Grossest Arby's story. We're going to put a pin in that for next time, because we had to wrap this shit up, and we're still going to get to broken penis,
Oh.
gross stories, and if someone has an ex that's a certain type, and whether that matters. We'll see you next time. Coming up on the next episode of Afraid to Ask. Do you want to know the honest truth?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. You know what my favorite thing is? The fact that I'm laughing so hard and you're so unamused. I think that's all of men versus women. That struck me so funny. I actually know that it's real because I heard this story before we had a podcast. Anyway, I
don't know. I think also I'm used to like performing surgery and afterwards not letting patients go until they've had a bowel movement or passed gas, because oftentimes the medicines we give cause constipation, especially opiates for pain control. So after surgery, you want to make sure that the gut motility is there before you discharge someone so they don't go home and have a bowel obstruction. So a lot of times I'm like, hey, you can get out of here as soon as you fucking fart. And it's totally serious.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's a thing, and then someone will fart and you're like, yay! And it's like a genuinely like. So
Wow.
I don't know.
Can I admit something to you? I didn't even care about that medical question. I wanted to play the fart noise.
Oh, you want to play the fart noise?
But you had a great answer, so I'm glad we did it.